Hey legends, you're listening to I Am Manifestation podcast, previously known as It's Already Mine Manifestation Podcast. I'm Cerise, I'm your conscious manifestation coach, and I help you get out of your own way so you can manifest your version of an awesome life. Whether you're new here or not, if you dig my content, some of the completely free ways you can support this podcast is to download the episodes you enjoy, or all of them if you're feeling generous, as well as follow the podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and even review it if you feel inspired to do so. Every bit of support means a lot and helps me get this info out to as many people as possible. Because everyone deserves to know how to manifest their version of an awesome fucking life, and everyone can. And I also just want to add there, thank you to those who have already given ratings. Not all have been 5-star, but I'm at a 4.8, and I mean, I'm absolutely ordering food with a 4.8 star rating off Uber Eats, so I'm not mad at that. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. I really appreciate it. You might also like to know, in addition to my coaching services, I now also have added subliminals and the manifestation shop to my site, so definitely go check those out. And also, I keep forgetting to mention, I am currently working on a self-concept workshop called the Super Self-Concept Workshop, and I am collecting a waiting list for people who will get 50% off that at the time of release if you sign up. So that'll be linked in the show notes if you're interested in that. So in today's episode, I thought that I would talk about leveling up your affirmations. I've done episodes on some of the things that I'm going to mention here, but this is just kind of a culmination of all the different ways that I feel from my own experience and the suggestions I've made and the things that I've learned about the mind that I think will be helpful. But I also want to add to that to remember that every thought is an affirmation. So really the main goal is to make sure that whenever the thing that you want pops into your mind, that you are making sure you are thinking in line with it already being the way you want it to be right now, and flipping any opposing thoughts that pop into your mind as they happen. Like before you even finish the thought, preferably, but don't be worried that you fucked up your manifestation if you let that thought go a little bit too long, because all that's doing is creating a little bit of a detour, a speed bump, if you will, and it's all about just course correcting. If you kind of think that you fucked up your manifestation, then you're more likely to not get your thoughts back on track, and you would have sent the trajectory of your thoughts completely out of whack. So it's more beneficial to just get on top of them and be aware of them and be diligent with that as much as possible, as quickly as possible. It does get easier the more diligent you are with it, because you're building the new habit of doing that. And I guess a good follow-up to explaining that every thought essentially is an affirmation is to go through the other types of affirmations that I tend to mention in my content. So I love prompt affirmations. They are short, concise affirmations, usually 2 to 5 on the main areas of your life or the main things that you're consciously manifesting, that you can have at your disposal to quickly think of when you see something in your physical world that sort of brings up any doubt or triggering or opposing feelings. And then we have set affirmations, which are just the kind of things that you would use in like your scripting. They can be a little bit longer. So those are, generally part of a routine, but not always. But they are kind of, I guess the best way to think about it is things that you choose on purpose that are in line with your manifestations. And then on top of that is your thoughts. Every thought's an affirmation. So before I get into sort of my leveling up of your affirmations suggestions, I want to say that the point of these is to obviously try and give you options that feel less resistant, but keep in mind and don't feel bad if any of these feel resistant to some degree, because when you're telling your mind something new, there will always be some resistance. So some of these might just feel a little less resistant. It's always good to try different kind of formats of saying the same thing and seeing what feels less kind of triggering, brings up less opposing emotions, feels less like your mind is fighting you on it. But remember, beliefs are anything you see, hear, think, and say enough times. So once you tell yourself these things enough times, your mind does naturally start to buy in. It just really depends on how much of an old story you have about whatever it is you're consciously manifesting. That kind of varies the amount of time it takes for you to feel more at ease with the things that you're telling yourself when you're not seeing the things you want in your physical world yet, or when you're seeing the opposite, or seemingly the opposite. I always say seemingly the opposite because you've got a whole wide world going on around you and you're only seeing one little tiny section of that in high definition. So don't be assuming that just because right in front of your eyes something looks like it's opposing your manifestation when there's always shit going on in the background. Okay, stop getting in your own way and making that assumption when those things happen. So without further ado, here are 5 ways to level up your affirmations. So the first few I might have mentioned in previous episodes, but I know that not everyone's heard those episodes, and do bear with me, there are some new suggestions definitely towards the end. So number 1 is askformations. Now, these are also known as affirmations, so not affirmations, affirmations, AFFORM Asians, ADIONS. And these are a concept, that's a term coined by a gentleman by the name of Noah St. John. So I definitely know that I have a whole episode on affirmations, so I won't go too in depth with it here. But basically asking why you already have the thing you want that you're manifesting. So remember, like usually I'm saying, we're living projectors. We want to think and speak about the things we want as if we already have them. So taking it to the next level by asking why you already have the things you want means that your mind, which likes to solve problems, starts looking for things, like it implies to your mind that you already have it, and your mind starts going, well, I don't see it, so I need to create it because I like to be right, because I'm a problem solver. So askformations or affirmations. Number 2, revision affirmations. So instead of saying I am, I have, you can say I have always been, I have always had. So I guess similar to the askformations or affirmations, this is suggesting to your mind that you of course already have the thing you want because you've always had it, duh. So your world shifts to make it true so that your mind isn't wrong, because it's seeing that you don't have the things you're saying you've always had, so it needs to correct that, if you will. I also really like forming my affirmations at times in revision format because it really helps with reprogramming the old story, as well as feeling less resistant to say, for me personally. Again, it's about trying all these different formats and finding which one feels the least resistant for you. Usually any new idea, new thought, new belief that you're trying to build will feel resistant to some degree initially, especially at the start of your conscious manifestation journey. As you go on, as you start to see more things actually come to fruition in your physical world and you start to believe more in yourself, you worry less about whether something's going to actually happen. And so it's easier when you even want to manifest something new to accept that it's already yours because you've seen so many other things come about, if that makes sense. Also, you can totally do a combination of these things. I do that. Sometimes I'll write something in like I am or I have, and then write I always have as the second like affirmation for the same thing. So you can definitely change that up. Maybe try if you like have your own set affirmations that tend to start with I am or I have or this is the way it is. Write that the first time, and if it still feels a bit resistant, try an askformation version or a revision version. And the third suggestion that I have is actually combining both of those. So if you've already checked out my YouTube channel, which is linked in the show notes, you would know that for my affirmation videos, I actually do them in 4 different formats for each one that I create. So if it's money, for example, there's an I am format, there's an askformation format, there's a revision format, and then I combine askformations and revisions and make an askformation revision format for each one. So an example of what that would sound like is, why have I always had dot dot dot? Why have I always been wealthy? Why has SP always been in love with me? Why have I always been the right person for the job, for every job that I go for, etc., etc.? So I've definitely done an episode on this next suggestion, which is, wait, let me see what the title of the actual episode is. Okay, so I in fact was incorrect about that statement. And I'm probably not going to bother to edit that out. It's fine. We're all human. But I've definitely made content about it on my social media, on both TikTok and Instagram. For those who are not aware, I don't post all of the same things on both platforms, although I am starting to share more of the TikTok videos on Instagram. It's just a bit delayed because I make more content for TikTok in video form. But a lot of people were saying that they're in countries that they can't access TikTok, only Instagram, and that they really want to obviously get that content. So I'm sharing a few more videos from my TikTok on Instagram, but it's just taking a bit longer because they're kind of different. Instagram is definitely more aesthetic. So I post, static posts of like affirmations or quotes or carousel posts of steps on how to do things and all that sort of thing. And on TikTok, it's obviously strictly video content. Also, the other main difference is because I do have a lot more followers on TikTok. TikTok is where I go live, and I try to do that. I try to do it about 4 days a week. I'm usually on between an hour to 2 hours. And at the moment, I'm at a point with my numbers where I'm able to answer every question. So now's the time to definitely follow if you can, to get your questions answered, obviously, for free. And I try to go live at varying times as well to get as many time zones as possible. Okay, that's enough of that. So back to point 4, or suggestion 4, to level up your affirmations. A lot of you, particularly if you're here for, seeking guidance because you're manifesting love, I am chosen. Now, I don't agree with I am chosen. And there's a reason for this. I have videos on it again, but in a short as a short explanation, I felt like I was articulating things so well, and then I've just started like umming and ahhing. Sorry. As a short explanation, saying that you were chosen means that the choice is up to someone else, and that's hardly coming from someone who believes that they are the operant power in their world. Now, I am chosen can also definitely apply to other things like being chosen for a job, being chosen in friendship groups, being chosen by a landlord, particularly if you live in a place that has a lot of competition to like rent houses and things like that. So my suggestion to changing that up is everyone wants to be chosen by me. Everyone wants me to choose them. Or SP wants to be chosen by me, wants me to choose them, or landlord, or potential job, or friends, whatever it is. Today was actually the first time. Now, I posted the video about disagreeing with I am chosen as an affirmation and my follow-up, which was my suggestions instead of I am chosen. Today is the first time since I posted that video where someone didn't immediately say, oh my God, that's so much better. I feel so much more empowered. So I just wanted to share what they said in the comment section. Bear with. So this particular follower, hello if you're listening to the podcast, because I think I referred you to either and or my YouTube or podcast. And obviously I'm not going to name the person and I'm not having a go at them at all. This is just kind of how I try to help and explain things in my comments, DMs, and with my coaching clients. So this person said that they were also on the fence about the chosen aspect. She said, I know this was a hot topic. So when I posted my videos, it was pretty popular. But she said she likes I am chosen because it implies that she's the only possible option, which I disagree with. And so this is how I explained. And just in case you want to read the comment section, because there was a few other things that I spoke to her about in the comments, the video that was on is 3 things that I suggest you stop doing if manifesting love. If I remember, I will post a link to it in the show notes. Probably not going to remember though, just managing your expectations. So the first thing I said back to her regarding that particular comment was that it's always totally up to you guys, right? Like, I'm just making suggestions. I'm not saying that you can't manifest saying other things. I'm not saying that you have to do what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, you can know all this stuff, like how conscious manifestation works, and not apply it. That's all up to you. If something another coach says resonates with you more, then do that. Try a few different things. See what works, what you feel the least resistant to, all of that sort of thing. And as I mentioned before, I am chosen actually doesn't imply that you're the only choice. It implies that you are one of the options. So what I then followed up with was SP wants to be chosen by me, says, of course you're the only option they want, but it's your world and therefore your choice if you want them. And I also gave another suggestion if she still wasn't very comfortable with the idea of saying everyone or SP wants to be chosen by me, SP wants me to choose them. Everyone is like the self-concept version of that affirmation, and either way you say it, it goes out in all directions. You'll see the action. You'll see evidence of it in not just SP, whether you're saying it about them specifically or everyone. Anyway, if that makes sense. And if you say everyone, you'll see it in lots of different people, including SP, just to add that. But my suggestion was, and this is also what I do with my coaching, right? Because I don't want anyone to be doing anything that they feel uncomfortable with. There is a point though where it gets like I've had with some clients where they just like don't want to try anything I'm suggesting. That's usually because their self-concept still needs a lot of work because they feel uncomfortable with kind of wanting what they want. And for me, I'm coming from a place of having worked on all that stuff and being like, no, I know I can have whatever I want and I don't feel bad about wanting more now than I used to want, kind of thing. So, keep that in mind. If you're very resistant to the idea of a lot of these affirmations, then definitely focus on some self-concept work. Because when you do build yourself up, you realize that you're actually worth more, deserve more, and are allowed to have more than you used to think that you were. So, tangent, but my follow-up suggestion was everyone or all men see me as their serious romantic goal. And the reason why I like the word goal as opposed to choice is because goal is like the ultimate, whereas choice means one of lots of different options. Her response to that was that she loved it, and she said that all men, that her old story was that she had an old SP who told her that he never saw her as a romantic option. So that was a win, and I hope that that person, I can tell already from the interaction in the comment section that she is feeling a lot more empowered. And I definitely encouraged self-concept work as well as signing up for the waitlist for the Super Self-Concept workshop. You're not obligated to purchase when it's released, by the way. It just means that you'll be the first to know. At the moment, I'm thinking it'll just be a 24-hour period to allow people on the waitlist to get in for the 50% off, and then it will go out to everyone else at full price. What that price is going to be at this stage, I'm not sure. It'll depend on whether I decide to add video content to it or just keep it more of a workbook than a workshop. But yeah, you're not obligated to purchase if you sign up for the waitlist, but if it's something that you could potentially be interested in, I definitely encourage you to sign up for that waitlist in the show notes. Okay, so we're up to 5. So if you're familiar with the law of assumption, you've likely heard of everyone as you pushed out. So for those who are new as well, I'll just quickly say law of assumption is the concept of a gentleman by the name of Neville Goddard, who is no longer with us. This was way back in, I think, the 50s. I didn't learn about the law of assumption directly from his teachings. I stumbled across a modern interpretation of his teachings, and then what I teach is more kind of stripped down even more, like the things that I've realized through my own practice with this are not necessary, and all the things that are kind of can be confusing for people and all of that, I've stripped that away. So that's kind of how I teach it. But Neville Goddard talks about a thing called everyone as you pushed out. Oh my gosh, why am I getting notifications when my phone is on Do Not Disturb? It came through my computer. I'm so sorry if you heard that. So I've lost where I was. Oh no. Everyone as you pushed out. So I just want to preface as well this suggestion to level up your affirmations with saying that there is people involved in all manifestation, not just the manifestations that are about specific people or groups of people, etc. However, this particular suggestion is for affirmations to do with people directly. But I'm going to use general self-concept examples. I tend to keep my content as general as possible. I do that for a reason, which I've mentioned in other episodes as well as on my social media. I might do a whole episode on that because sometimes I feel like people think I'm just being a dick and just don't want to talk about love because I have love in my life. And that's that's not the case. You know, I always say that everyone wants to, like, deserves to love and be loved in return. So yeah, I assure you it is to help you and to make things like manifesting love easier in general, easier to stay on track with, more enjoyable, and to help create less resistance through that process, etc. So anyway, I know a lot of people tend to affirm that people want them, whether that's for love, jobs, friendships, whatever. And that's all well and good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would like to take these kinds of affirmations to the next level. We're going to add a level to it that will just give it that extra boost and maybe even make you feel more empowered. I know that it does for me to word things this way. So we can definitely do better than such and such wants me, right? Or they want me for the job or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know about you. I want a lot of things and I don't necessarily do anything about it. Like I said earlier, there are people who know how law of assumption or conscious manifestation works, and yet they don't put it into practice and they just continue bitching and moaning about why their lives aren't any better, but nothing changes if nothing changes. That's an individual choice for every person. So there's plenty of things that I want that I don't do anything about. I'm a lot better about doing it now because I know that I really just have to change my thoughts about those things in order to get them, and that makes it like way more appealing. But in terms of an affirmation for how we want to experience the people in our world, I like to change these affirmations to, and again, I keep saying that, keep saying that I'm keeping this general self-concept kind of formatting, but instead of everyone wants or such and such wants or they want me for whatever, everyone wants and works to earn my respect, to earn my love, to be my choice, to earn my commitment, approval, attention, whatever. So instead of everyone wants me, full stop, we're doing everyone wants and works to earn my blah, 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 blah. And I like to, you know, even when you have the things that you have wanted, that you've manifested, once you get them, in order to keep them, you still need to continue to think in line with them being the way you want them to be. Otherwise they're not going to stick around or things are going to change against how you want them to be. So, you know, even with the things that I already have, for example, because I know a lot of you are here manifesting love, you know, I have a partner, but I still kind of use this one and I just say that he continues to want and work for those things. He continues to work to continue to be my choice. That was a little disjointed because I don't focus just on love with my affirmations, but you know, like I said, every thought's an affirmation. So whenever I think of my partner and I think about how well things are working, I reaffirm it. I don't just affirm for the things that I want to change. I reaffirm for the things that I want to continue experiencing. And that's essentially what gratitude is as well. So you don't need to do gratitude lists or have a gratitude routine in order to manifest, but reaffirming for the things that you already have that you want to keep and continue experiencing is also really beneficial. Well, I mean, like I said, if you want to keep things the way you want them, then you have to keep making sure that you whenever they pop into your mind, you're thinking in line with them being the way you want them to be. And once again, you can change the formatting of that to by adding always. So everyone always wants and works to earn my love, respect, commitment, approval, attention, whatever. Everyone has always wanted and worked to earn my blah, 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 Why does everyone want and work for my blah, blah, blah? Why has everyone always wanted and worked for my blah, blah, blah? Or wanted and worked to be chosen by me? So, yeah. Again, give those a go. Test out the formatting. See how much more empowered you feel. And my last suggestion, which I think is, did I say 5 things or 6 things? If I said 5, it's a bonus. If I said 6, it's the 6th. On my list, I'll have to work that out for my title, but it also doesn't matter because we can just call it a bonus if it's a bonus. But adding a self-concept aspect to even your non-self-concept affirmations. So, for example, if we want to use the previous example that I gave for the other suggestion, the most recent suggestion, we can say everyone wants and works to earn my respect because I am, insert self-concept here, intelligent and witty, always the best person for the job, everyone's favorite person, a 10 out of 10, the total package, insert self-concept there. So these are really good more so for like your set affirmations that you would use for scripting or whatever, or listening to or whatever. But I would keep my prompt affirmations shorter than that. Prompt affirmations are just really for in the moment. Oh my God, my heart's racing, my nervous system's all over the shop. I've just seen something that I don't like, or I'm bringing up an opposing feeling. I've thought something that's brought that up, and I need something to interrupt the pattern of that thought. Those are what prompt affirmations are for. But these sort of longer ones are really great for scripting. I'm a huge fan of scripting. I think I have done an episode on scripting, and I definitely encourage everyone to script at least in the start of their conscious manifestation journey or when they're manifesting something new. It's like just a really awesome tool for helping reprogram any old story and programming the new story. So yeah. So I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of that. I feel like it will definitely help many of you with at least decreasing any resistance you feel with your affirmations. It might have given you some ideas that you haven't thought of. And like I said, the wording of things and adding the different kind of levels to your affirmations might also help you feel more secure in what you're manifesting and more empowered. Before I do wrap up this episode, if you have any conscious manifestation successes since listening to or watching any of my content, please let me know via socials or the contact page on my website. I do what I do because I want to see you all win. Also, if you're happy for me to share these anonymously, I might make a segment in the podcast to share these and inspire others to persist. Those are all in the show notes, in addition to, again, links to freebies, one-to-one coaching via video call or emails. I have email packages that are at a discount, and I also have a video call plus 3 email packages because some people need that little bit of extra follow-up with an email, follow-up questions and things like that after a call, again, at a discount. Subliminals, the Manifestation Shop, the I Am Manifestation YouTube channel with affirmation and informative videos, my socials, and more. That's exhausting to say. Thank you for being here. You're a fucking legend. Don't you ever forget it. And until next time, have a good one.